It's a sad, sad day for Indiana Jones fans. Honestly, just movie fans in general. Those of us who want to live in a world with some quality standards, with things that make sense. Do you remember when things used to make sense? Maybe they never did. Maybe we just imagined it. Now that we're older, we're realizing how shitty everything actually is. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny to ring up around 60 million opening. Here's why. 60 million? This has to be wrong. There's no way this is right. If Disney releases an Indiana Jones film and it only opens to 60 million, fire everyone. Fire Bob Iger, fire Kathleen Kennedy, clean out the damn building. It's like that episode of Entourage where Ari goes in with the paint gun and just shoots everybody and fires everybody. We need that to happen. 60 million? This film cost $300 million. I mean, not to steal from the angry video game nerd, but what were they thinking? 60 million? Now, I know I've covered this film, but what I was covering before was the reviews. And I said in that video, I didn't think this film would do that well at the box office. But when I said that, I wasn't assuming this bad. I thought bad would be, a little bit over $100 million opening weekend, and then a final total worldwide, maybe 500 million or so. But Deadline's reporting a 60 million domestic opening. I mean, if it only opens to that, $200 million domestically, I would say is unlikely unless it has amazing holds. If this film only makes about 190 million domestic, I mean, this just has bomb written all over it. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's go through the article. Let's make content by just reading articles from other websites without providing anything of my own. That's how we like to do it here. Dial of Destiny's 3-day is down from the 100.1 million 3-day of the last movie, 2008's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and this latest sequel reps the finale for the entire franchise. Crystal Skull opened on a Thursday over Memorial Day weekend, earning a total over 5 days of 151.9 million. Logan filmmaker James Mangold took over helming the finale from franchise architect Steven Spielberg. Currently, Dial of Destiny is tracking significantly with older over younger, which has many coping. Oh, wait. I said coping. Comping. Comping the pick to the Daniel Craig 007 finale, No Time to Die, 55.2 million. 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout, 61.2 million. I think that's all fair. I think comping the film to No Time to Die and Mission Impossible makes sense. This is a dad movie. My dad talks to me on the phone and says, nothing good's coming out. He said, I might go see the new Indiana Jones, though. My dad's 68 years old, so that lets you know. Those are the people that are excited about this. I don't think anyone in their 20s, obviously there's going to be comments of people here saying, I'm a Zoomer and I like Indiana Jones. I know. I know that some of you out there like it, but for the most part, it's an older demographic. It's going to be an older audience that skews, mostly because the main character's an old man. So that's sort of an element with it. How old was Daniel Craig in the last James Bond movie? He was like 50. Tom Cruise was in his 50s when Fallout came out. Harrison Ford's 80. Some are saying a 70 million start for Dial of Destiny. That's quite a stretch. Realize that Lionsgate's John Wick Chapter 4 opened to 73.8 million with double the tracking metrics that Dial of the Destiny is showing here. Disney will need to pick up the slack in the coming weeks in their marketing to get more interest from younger guys. Their distraction now being Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters and the upcoming Warner Bros. DC The Flash on June 16th. However, the hard word of mouth out of the can is quite the hurdle. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which wasn't beloved by many, settled at 77 certified fresh and a B cinema score, versus the previous 1989 installment, The Last Crusade, which earned 84% certified fresh and critics and a solid A cinema score. With Dial the Destiny at a 60 million 3-day, this easily the second best start for the franchise. In the box office era, Last Crusade opened at 29 million, 46 million over extended Memorial Day. 1984's Temple of Doom opened at 25 million 3-day, 42 over the Memorial Day. And 1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark trajecting harkens back to the way blockbusters were made over a year. The pick opened at 8.3 million at 1,078 theaters, and by January 1982, it earned 179.6 million, with an initial cum of 212.2 million and a lifetime gross of 248 million. So that's bringing up the old movies is kind of not really relevant to this case. I mean, the best comp would be Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which, despite a lot of us hating it at the time, did make almost $800 million. So it was a successful film. What a sad world it has become has the movie opening to only 60 million as a disappointment. I love the response when the budget is $300 million. But Pete Hammond said it was great and everyone at Cannes loved it. Pete Hammond is such a hack. Can we just get rid of these old fucking dinosaurs who still work in the media? At 60 mil tracking, even if we get a huge overperformance, I don't see how this movie can possibly break even. One of the most expensive films ever produced. Mind-boggling that Disney even allowed Lucasfilm to waste so much money. Seems to be a uniquely Disney problem. Other studios have the occasional big spend blockbuster too, but many are churning its hits with $100 million budgets. Disney would consider a $150 million production budget to be a discount. Yeah, I don't know how this film costs more than 150 million. That's the most I would spend on an Indiana Jones film at this point. The same people who say the movie will fail are the same who know it all, who predicted doom to Avatar 3 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Avatar 3 isn't even out yet. I mean, obviously he meant Avatar 2, but some of them might have, but I personally know Avatar 2 would be a huge success and the Guardians 3 would perform okay, and yet the $300 million Indiana Jones movie will fail worse than the $250 million Mermaid, which is set to lose Disney at least $100 million. The last film was so bad, what does Disney expect? 1,000%, especially since Nolan's hubris is leading him to board PLF for a much smaller niche audience with an R rating. Don't know how much PLF Barbie is getting. That's more of a family play. I don't need to focus on this. Easily the worst title of the series, Dial of Destiny, sounds like something designed to impress 10-year-olds in the 1980s. This summer, get the Dial of Destiny for you and your friends to play in the basement. I'm just looking for some comments here. Sorry if this isn't great content. I honestly don't care what anyone says. This movie will be a surprise success when it comes out. I don't even care how much it might make. Despite this, I also think it'll be a good finale to the Indiana Jones series. I don't care what armchair YouTube quarterback naysayers think. Hey, fuck you, dude. Alright? I've been doing this a long time. All right, this armchair is rusty and experienced. All right, I'm not these new kids making their TikToks or whatever you call it. I do this the old-fashioned way, which is basically to piss all over everything before they've ever seen the film or opine for days long ago. And I really couldn't give a crap what Rotten Tomatoes critics or what the French have to say. Well, we can agree on that. Fuck what the French have to say. I've never really cared about Cannes, but it was a huge mistake to screen this film 6 weeks before its release and not impose a review embargo. I've already purchased my tickets with an IMAX upgrade at discounted price and will judge the movie on my own. Yeah, I like how people always try to say, like, make up your mind. Okay, well, what is pattern recognition? What is wisdom? So we have a studio here that's consistently murdered classic franchises that I liked, that they've destroyed the goodwill over the last few years. Maybe they had it at one point with Star Wars. They had it with Marvel at one point, but not currently. We have an old Indiana Jones, which last time I saw that movie sucked. Even Steven Spielberg couldn't make a good Indiana Jones film at that point. And the reviews are bad. So I don't know. I think you just have to assume that the movie's going to have problems. That would be my guess. I mean, the movie's probably okay. I would say the movie's probably an okay film for most of it, but that's not good enough. Why make it then? Why spend $300 million to make an okay movie? It's a waste of time. With that money, you could make so many more movies that could be interesting that are budgeted at $25 to $30 million. Frankly, the only thing I want from Disney Lucasfilm with respect to this franchise is that they release the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles on Blu-ray. if going by actual ticket sales, this look like this will be the least popular in the franchise. Can overseas save it? This is going to be a rough film year for Disney. This film is not going to rake in the younger audience, especially males. They're more interested in Spider-Man, Mario Brothers. Cutting films back this year by 20% is probably the right move since nothing seems to be working. Elemental will be another underperformer. People also know that they will have to wait a few months and watch it on Disney Plus. They need another Avatar too. I like people saying here this doesn't need to make 800 million, 900 to break even. Yeah, 600 million will be a success on a 300 million plus budget. Yeah, that's not happening. That's like Justice League. Justice League made over $600 million. Nobody called that movie a hit. And obviously, we're talking about the Whedon cut. So I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot to say here that I haven't said. We covered the reviews, we covered the production a little bit, but I just can't believe this tracking. This is god awful tracking. $60 million for a fucking Indiana Jones movie? I mean, how can you drop the ball this hard? How did this happen? This is just bad oversight, everything about this. Kathleen Kennedy strikes again. I mean, I've never seen a producer fail so much and yet, still have a career despite that. It's honestly really impressive. I give her a lot of credit for just sticking around despite that. Okay, to wrap this up, let's look at the box office real quick. We got the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's at 1,315,000,000 worldwide, huge hit. No need to comment on it any further. That film is probably going to be the highest grossing film of the year. John Wick 4 is at 428 million. I'd say it's about done with its run. Guardians 3 did pass 800 million this weekend, so it is now officially the second highest grossing film of the franchise. Let's see if it can pass part 2. The Little Mermaid continues to do well domestically. 229 million, but only 414 million worldwide, with the 55% ticket gross split between the theaters and the studio. This film is still quite a ways off from breaking even. It needs to make, I'd say, another 200 million to get there. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse had a very good second weekend. They have not updated the foreign box office. The film is at 225 million domestic, 313 million worldwide, with a $100 million budget. I would say this film is probably broken even for the studio. And we're going to be getting into good profits here in the next few weeks. Transformers Rise of the Beast had a surprisingly decent opening weekend. It did open better than the previous film Bumblebee with $61 million. They didn't update the foreign numbers on this one as well, but I believe it's 170 million. For anyone curious, I do have my second channel that I've been putting content on, Cable Classics. We've been doing movie commentaries there. We just did Fear, the James Foley thriller from 1996 starring Mark Wahlberg. I'll put a link in the description. Please go check that video out. Please go subscribe to that channel. There should be regular videos there being posted weekly. By the way, with Indiana Jones, tell me your opening weekend predictions. What do you think about the film? How do you think this happened? And why do you think it's tracking so low overall? I would say the biggest problem, in my opinion, is the marketing has been pretty terrible and is doing a really bad job on selling the movie as a blockbuster that's worth going to see. We just kind of see some generic Indiana Jones action scenes in the de-aging technology, and that's about it. There's not really that much there to get you hyped. Even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had a lot better trailers than this. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. I love you. Please, give my ego a boost. And all of you guys out there that have been rewinders, let's keep it going. Let's keep doing this shit, I guess.